Hey everybody, lesson 30, factoring with lead coefficients. This lesson is just an extension of factoring those trinomials that we did the last time we were in class in lesson 29. You'll notice the difference this time is that if you look in front of that x squared term, there's no longer a blank spot or that invisible 1. You now have a lead coefficient, like the 5 or the 3 or whatever. So the factoring process is basically the same. There's just this extra little cheat that we're going to throw in there. I gotta be honest, I really went back and forth about showing you this method because it really is a cheater method. I'm not really sure there's any sound mathematics behind it, but it really seems to work. And according to every teacher I've ever talked to that uses it, they like it and the students really understand it and roll with it. So I'm going to show you guys, even though it's not mathematically sound, that bothers me a little bit, and I've never taught it this way before, so bear with me. But hopefully it will work for you and it'll help you get right answers. If you're curious about how to do it mathematically properly, let me know and I'll be glad to show that to you at a later date. Okay, so check it out. You don't have to do this in Cornell note format today, by the way. Hey, happy day. Today I just need you to write all this information down, have it ready for when we get to class. So here's what we're going to do. I've got lead coefficient, and that guy is in the way. I can't pull it out because 13x and 6 aren't divisible by 5. So I can't pull it out like a GCF. I'm kind of stuck with it. So what I'm going to do is multiply that 5 right here, and see this plus 6 on the end? I'm going to multiply those two guys together and rewrite my trinomial like this. 5 times 6 is 30, so that's going to be the new end number. So by multiplying the 5 times the 6, I'm going to get rid of that lead coefficient and change that last number to 30. Remember, this is a cheat, so don't try to make a whole lot of sense out of it. You just got to follow the steps. Now I'm going to factor it like I showed you in class the other day. Remember that x times x is that x squared. And then I have to come over here and find my factors of 30 that are going to add to that 13. So I think, yeah, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. And don't forget there's all the negative versions of this as well, like -1 and -30, and -2 and -15, and so on. I'm not going to list everybody out because I'm already noticing that 3 times 10 is the one that I'm looking for, because 3 plus 10 gives me that 13 right there in the middle. So plus 3 and plus 10. But if you were to work this red stuff back out and multiply it, you wouldn't get that original trinomial. Remember, in the beginning we cheated by multiplying 5 times 6. So now that we're at the end of the problem, we have to undo our cheat to make the answer right in the end. So just think about it. The opposite of multiplying by that 5 is simply going to be to divide that 5 back out. So I'm going to divide by 5 here and here. I don't want to leave fractions in my answers though. So, and here's where it gets weird and doesn't make any sense. For this guy right here, I'm going to move that 5 to the front. So that first factor becomes 5x plus 3. Simply moved it right there. Again, this is not mathematically sound. It's a cheat. So don't try to make sense of it. This right here is no big deal though, because what's 10 divided by 5? Well, it's 2. So that just simplifies to x plus 2. That's my final answer. Those are the factors. Because if I actually multiplied these two binomials out, that would give me that original one. I'm going to show you to prove it real fast. We won't do it on all of them, but just this one to show you. 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times 2, that's a 10x. 3 times x is 3x. And lastly, 3 times 2 is 6. There's my 13x right there. So this red trinomial at the bottom, or polynomial, is actually the exact same as that black trinomial to begin with. That tells me that this blue stuff that I boxed, those are the correct factors and that I did it correctly. All right, let's try number 2. Okay, I have a lead coefficient that I can't pull out, so I multiply 3 times that -4 and rewrite my trinomial. So again, the -12 comes from 3 times the -4 right there. Now I factor it just like normal. So x times x is x squared, and I make my t-chart for the negative 12. This time, I don't know what we've got going. Negative 12 times 1, positive 12 times negative 1. I bet that's what I'm looking for. That guy right there, because 12 minus 1 is positive 11, which is what I'm looking for there. So put your plus 12 in and your minus 1. Remember, we cheated, so we have to undo our cheat. The cheat was multiplying that 3 into the 4, so to undo it, we have to divide it out. It's the opposite, right? So divide by 3, divide by 3. Now clean this up. We don't want to leave our answer with fractions. This is one right here, 12 divided by 3. That divides out clean. So we just get x plus 4, because that's a 4. 1/3 is going to give me crazy decimal, so we're simply going to move it to the front. 3x minus 1. Those are the factors for that black trinomial at the top. Let's do a couple more. Alrighty. Lead coefficient other than 1, so multiply the first into the last. Rewrite your trinomial, and now factor it like normal. Remember, x times x is x squared, and my t-chart will be for the positive 6. I'm looking to get a negative 7. I bet negative 6 and negative 1 would work, because negative times negative is positive 6. Negative 6 plus a negative 1 gives me that negative 7 in the middle. Remember that we cheated by multiplying the 2 into the 3. So undo it by dividing the 2 out. The first one looks like it cleans up, leaving me with x minus 3, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. The last one is not going to clean up, so I'm going to move the 2 up to the front. 2x minus 1. There's my factors. Remember, if you want to check it, multiply them back out. Last one, and we'll call it quits for the day. Have a lead coefficient that I'm going to multiply times the end, and rewrite my trinomial. 3 times negative 12 is a negative 36. When I factor this guy, x times x is the x squared term. Negative 36 is the piece that I'm going to find my t-chart for. Oh, let's see. Excuse me, I've got maybe negative 9 and positive 4. I think that's it, because negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. If I add these two numbers, I'd get a negative 5. Take care of that cheat. The 3 was the number we multiplied in, so that's the number we divide back out. This simplifies to x minus 3, because 9 divided by 3 is 3. This 3 has to come up front for 3x plus 4. And those are the factors of the original problem. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it doesn't make very much sense, but it works, and it seems to work every single time. And so we're going to roll with it, and if it doesn't work for you, if this is not something that works in your brain because you guys are my thinkers, we can talk about it when we get to class, and I'll show you the mathematical way to do it.